Well, welcome, guys. It's mock season. We're going to be doing our first mock of the season here. Um, it's been a while. It's been since February since we've had an episode, so just over a month. If you're joining in, um, I guess the big thing is we've had trades, we've had pickups, we've had things like that. So that's why we kind of held off for the first mock, just waiting for that to settle in. Because if we would have done a mock 2 weeks ago, uh, it would
It'd have
be
been way different.
way different to what we'd be doing now. At least after maybe some couple of picks, but uh, with everything that's happened so far, we decided, all right, let's get our first one in. Clearly how you draft and how I'm going to draft are going to change some things up a little bit, um, and then we will go from there. So, while I'm thinking about it, I probably should pull up my mock board that I have because I took notes this year. Give me a second.
Well, you're going to be way better organized than I am.
Um, while we're killing time, while this loads, my laptop's a little slow. Uh, yeah. So first mock. The biggest question is, do you want odds or evens in picks?
I think last year I was evens. Give me odds
Odds
this
this
year.
year. Okay. Well, you'll have the easiest pick to start then. Um,
I know.
and then we're using the PFSN mock draft simulator. I do the consensus over like ESPN and all that other shit for grading. So like if I need to like move and go down so you can see people or whatever, it's gonna be a little bit different on each one. Um, and then we will go from there. Uh, any exciting updates in life, Marcus, since our last episode?
No, not really. It's just been busy, I would say, for the most part.
Working,
How about
working,
you?
working, and twerking. Got new management, dude.
Damn right.
That's been a fun little adjustment. Um, it's almost up here. It's almost up here.
Well, do you want me to start out with the first overall pick?
Yeah, while mine's loading, we can do that.
Well, the Raiders are looking for their franchise quarterback. I think Fernando Mendoza is the best quarterback in this draft by far. He showed a lot in college. I think his ceiling is going to be somewhat of like a Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins type player. But you know, I like me some Fernando Mendoza, and I think the Raiders nation wants some Fernando Mendoza as well. What they've
So,
done in the offseason is they've grabbed some key pieces. Go
wait,
ahead, Skinny.
no, no, I was gonna say. So we're passing up Mendoza. All
Yeah, Mendoza to the Raiders.
right. I think the Raider. If the Jets and Cardinals were desperate enough to trade up, you could get a heavy fucking haul for that first pick, and get a quarterback next year. Honestly, but I think also like teams like the Jets are like, which they're up now. They're like, oh, we're signing Gino. He's had his last two coaches fired, and his team last year got the number one overall pick. So let's continue that. Um, so I need to finish this by my draft time, but key additions they've added: quarterback Geno Smith. They kept Brees Hall. They got De'Vondre
Yep.
Sweat. Got Demario Davis and got Minka Fitzpatrick, which I was pretty impressed with getting that pickup. Uh, Diving into like their needs, quarterback, of course, defensive tackle, still a little bit for depth, because edge they're big on that front, front four, front seven, wide receiver and safety. But I think what I know this is not a need per se, but I'm gonna go with probably the best linebacker for them in Arvell Reese. I think he's just too good to pass up on. A guy that can play pretty much anything you need him to for that defense. He can, if he needs to go get out the passer, he can go get out the passer for him. Drop back in coverage for him. So he gives you a little bit of that edge need, but then also being able to fill in that linebacker spot, which I feel like a lot of pretty much if you play outside linebacker, you need or linebacker in general, you need to be able to do both at this point. Otherwise, if you can't really drop in coverage, just become an edge rusher. So I think Arvell Reese going to the Jets is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, I agree. Harvell Reese is probably, besides Jeremiah Love, the most talented player in the whole draft class. So I agree. Um, Next, the Cardinals. Cardinals made a lot of key pickups this year. They picked up Tyler Algier, which I did not see that coming, but I kind of like the fit. I mean, and they also signed back what's his face, James Conner. They still have what's the other, Trey Benson on the roster.
Yeah.
So if they didn't make those moves, I was going to say they were going to be sure Jeremiah Love candidates, but I don't think they will be. They also got Isaac Samalu, the guard, and a couple other key pickups on their offensive line.
Hey, they got Gardner Minshew. I
They did
saw.
get Gardner
I
Minshew, which
saw
I
that.
actually do think realistically could come in and play for that starting gig.
Yeah, I mean it's him and Brissett, right? So
Yeah.
that'll be that'll be a QB battle to watch in the offseason for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, also both of them are viable backups if the other one sucks or the other one, whoever's
Hmm.
starting isn't performing or whatever. I think getting Gardner Minshew helps at least. And plus, the Jets getting Geno and the Cardinals getting like Gardner and having Brissett just tells me that they may draft a quarterback later in the draft. Like the Jets have four picks in the like first 2 or 3
Yeah.
rounds. Maybe not get a quarterback there or get a quarterback later. That a lot of these guys coming out could be decent. For a little bit. Um, but that just kind of goes to show that they're ready for next year's draft and what that quarterback class is going to bring. Um, so these are just more of the fill-ins for them.
Yeah. I mean they could go either way. I think they need a lot of edge help, so I think Ruben Bain Jr. would pair nicely with this defense.
Ruben Bain Jr. You messed up my draft already.
Good. Do you
Messed
think
it
I was
all
gonna
up.
take Sonny Styles?
No, I was hoping you'd take David Bailey, but Ruben Bain. Uh, Ruben Bain's like he would be my like if you they're interchangeable. David Bailey and Ruben Bain. I feel like it just depends on what you want for size. At that ideal size spot. And David Bailey did kind of shoot up a little bit, especially after that combine. Watching that combine in highlights. So the Titans, they hired a defensive coach. So I don't see them considering. I know people are like, "Oh, the Titans are going to go after Jeremiah Love." You still got Tony Pollard, and you still have what's his nuts, dude. Not watching football or paying attention to football in terms of like
I know it's hard
fantasy and
to say
everything.
names and stuff like that. Yeah.
Forget names. Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. You still got two pretty, I would say, above average running backs. I don't think getting Jeremiah Love is going to solve their problems that they have. Their defense was very bad last year. They're um, they need wide receiver help, which I don't think you draft a wide receiver this early either, because there's a ton of talent. There's a lot of depth at wide receiver for this draft, and you still have some viable guys, some young guys that were showing like DK, um, showing some promise after last year. So I think they can probably hold off on that. Um, I they need linebacker, they need DB. I think I would not be shocked if they did this, but Sony Styles he skyrocketed after the combine too. Um, him and Arvell Reese at Ohio State, phenomenal. And Sonny Styles is a guy that can play sideline to sideline for them, and that's exactly what Vrabel is gonna want. Not Vrabel, Sala is gonna want uh, in a defensive player like that. So I think Sonny Styles to the Titans makes a lot of sense and makes that defense really good. I think they still have Cedric Gray, who he had a pretty good season at linebacker, and you get those two paired up, that linebacker core is going to be good for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Now I'm
I
interested to see.
agree.
I'm interested to see what you do with the Giants pick.
To me, the Giants made some good offensive moves. I think they have a lot going for them. They went and signed Isaiah Likely, which is kind of a decent signing. I think Isaiah Likely is a pretty talented tight end, and I think it'll fit pretty nicely with that offense what they have. I think they could go either way. Their defense is pretty decent, but I think that this is a team that, having John Harbaugh come over there, a defensive minded guy, I think that he'll just keep packing up this defense and have as much talent as he can. Offensively, I think they've shown enough, and I think that there's receivers are good enough in this draft that you could get someone in the early second round that could be a producer. So with this pick, I think that they'll take David Bailey out of Texas Tech and come in and give them another pass rusher that'll just help rotational guy. And I mean, he's a stud, but not just a rotational guy, but someone they can throw in the rotation and really get to the pass rusher. Because what wins games in the NFC East is defense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that front four is already good.
Yeah.
You have Brian Burns, Sexy Dexy,
Hmm.
Abdul Carter, and
Yep.
Thibodeau. Which Thibodeau could be a guy that potentially ends up getting traded or something, just because they may not want to pay him compared to Abdul Carter. But then you
Hmm.
still have the contracts of Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. Um, so you get a guy that's going to be a little bit cheaper for you at least over Kevin Thibodeau. Um, I would have went Jeremiah Love here. Dude, I don't think Jeremiah
You
Love makes
think
it out of
so?
the top five, but I would 100% like if the Titans do not take Jeremiah Love, I there's no way the Giants don't do it. Like that offense would just you still maybe need another receiver, but you just at the
I
tight
don't
end.
I don't know because I think that you're good enough. I think you can take other places. I do love Jeremiah Love, but I do think that if he doesn't go to the Titans, I think he could fall a little bit.
Yeah,
Not a ton.
like at this point, I think he starts falling because like the Browns have a quarter like the Browns have Judkins. You could go and sign him, but I just don't think you would after the season Judkins have. And you still
No.
have like Dylan Sampson, who was very well for you and cheap. You have other offensive needs that you clearly need to
Hmm.
fill in.
Yeah.
Washington just took.
I don't know though. I could see Washington because they didn't invest a lot in the guys they had. They picked up what's his
Yeah,
face with me. Washington's available.
they got Rashad
You
White,
know,
so I guess yeah, Rashad White's not. Yeah, I mean you have the next pick after me, and I'm not going to take him. So, but the Commanders could with still getting Rashad White. The Saints wouldn't with Travis Etienne, I think, and then the
no.
Chiefs with Kenneth Walker. So I would say the Titans, Giants, and Commanders are probably the three options that he realistically goes to. I just think the Titans don't do it in solely purpose of defensive guy, and like you, Giants Harbaugh defensive guy, but he also loves to run the ball, so that one's tough. Browns. The Browns have two first round picks, so the Browns can do a lot of things here. They need quarterback, offensive tackle, interior line, and wide receiver. Um, and I only have them drafting one thing in the first round that they actually need. And I think at this point, you got to take the best wide receiver on the board that's not having any issues in terms of health, off field, whatever. Clear cut wide receiver one, you're gonna go and get. And if you're gonna invest in Sanders, you got to get him something more than uh, uh, Njoku's gone, and then Harold Fannin. You got to get him more than that. That's actually gonna produce for him. So we're gonna draft Cardinal Tate. Clear
Really.
cut number one. Just know, I think if Jordan Tyson didn't have his health issues, would probably be the clear cut number one. But I would not be shocked to see Jordan Tyson and Makai Lemon fall because of their off-field issues, health, all that stuff. Despite them being able to say, probably being able to say they're technically a better wide receiver than Caleb Downs. And Sanders gets help if you don't want if that's your guy because you got him for a fifth round, so he's cheap and he's the guy you're going to roll with next season potentially because he showed promise. I mean, he didn't play terrible for a guy that barely had first team reps, fifth round pick. Everybody doubted him. Didn't have much of a wide receiver help anyway. You go and get him that, and that's going to help that offense majorly. Judkins is going to come back. Um, and yeah, Carnell Tate.
Gotcha. Um, Commanders. What a team in a weird position. You think you have the franchise quarterback, and had a really rough year from being in the NFC Championship the year before. I mean, they boosted their defensive line with Owens from the Baltimore Ravens, and then they also got Chiga Okonkwo, which was a weird one, and Nick Cross and Van Jefferson. So just weird people that'll be rotational guys. But I think the Commanders' defense was piss poor last year. And offensively, you know, they did some things, not anything too crazy, and they will need some more help eventually. But this one's hard because there's two players that I could really see fit this defense really well for what they need. You know, they really haven't had a premier corner for a long time, or really a premier safety. And I'm kind of on the fence with who I want to go, but I think I would give the edge to Caleb Downs.
Yeah, I I have him. I have them drafting Caleb Downs at pick number 7, um, in my mock too. Caleb Downs, dude, that's crazy. four
Well,
Ohio
that's why we
State,
do the mock.
4 Ohio State players in the first 7 picks. When was the last time a team probably cleared a board like that? If
Oh, I
ever.
have no idea.
That's insane. And I mean, I imagine these 4 probably all go top 10. And, like, when's the last time that ever happened? At least top 10. If it happens any sooner than that, like, top 6, whatever, like, pretty fucking crazy. But no, I agree. So we're on to the Saints. So I originally had the Saints, like in my mocks, I've been having them draft edge because I wouldn't have Jeremiah Love here. I don't think you sign Travis Etienne and go grab Jeremiah Love because Travis Etienne's not on a 1-year deal either. Like, you got him for a couple of years. So why spend all that money? You're spending money on a running back. Why spend even more money on a running back with this pick number 8 type money? Um, so I have been going edge on them. They need DB. They need tight end. They need interior line help, and one of the probably he could go top, he could play the tackle, was a tackle. Most likely, wherever he goes, he's probably going to get moved inside, is my guess, if he's willing to. Which most guys, it seems like nowadays, a lot of these tackles go play guard and have a lot of success playing the guard, switching over. Um, so we're going to take Francis Mogoa out of Miami because I think he can come in and help build that offensive line, um, protect Shuck. That offensive line was not. It was better last year. Was definitely not the best. You added David Edwards, but this is more at guard. This is a guy that can come in and play tackle if you need him, fill in that guard role, and really create that true pass protection run game with adding a guy like Travis Etienne. Um,
Yeah.
Francis Moagoa probably playing guard is my guess.
Um, you know, KC had a really disappointing year last year. Patrick Mahomes got hurt. They brought in Justin Fields, which I think will be interesting to see. He's going to play, which I have in my dynasty, which I'm going to love. Andy Reid with Justin Fields for a couple weeks. Um, they also they also obviously got the Super Bowl MVP, the guy that everyone wanted to sell, but didn't end up making it happen.
Yet.
And probably probably want to keep him at this point, I would imagine,
Oh,
because he Kenneth Walker the third. I mean, he's shot up value. He's probably worth a first round pick now, like easily, like middle first round pick
I would.
in most
I
drafts.
see. The thing is, I have a middle first round pick. So, like, do I do I pair him up? Marcus Kenneth Walker in my 1-5 for a 1-1 over.
Can't do it.
uh,
Can't do it. But Kansas City's in a great position to feel free to pick the best player overall, which honestly would be Jeremiah Love, but I just don't see it happening with that. So really, they offensive line help would help the shit out of them. You know, they have decent receivers at this point. Uh, you know, secondary help or defensive help anywhere. But I think they take. Oh God, dude, this is a hard position to be in.
mm-hmm.
Because what do? You take the best position, or do you go over there because after that, the best player available would be, they could honestly replace Trent McDuffie and go in and take what's his nuts?
Which
Where's
one?
he on draft
Which
board?
one are you thinking?
Manson Delaney
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
or Mansour Delaney and go in and replace Trent McDuffie with, a stud out of LSU.
See, they also have 2 first-round picks, so you have to consider,
Yeah.
at the end of the first round, there's going to be a good chunk of DBs potentially available still too. So do
Yeah.
you take one now, and then, is there another? What are you looking for down the
Yeah.
road?
You know what? I know what I'm going to do with this pick. They're going to go in and take Kenyon Sadiq and replace Travis Kelce.
Damn, I like that. I
I think
like
we're going to do
that.
Sadiq. I think that'll be best player available. You're not going to take Jeremiah Love because I hope they don't take Jeremiah Love. For my goddamn sake, I hope they don't take
Well,
Jeremiah
and
Love.
if you're gonna take if you're gonna sign Kenneth Walker again to a nice little contract in a couple years, I
Mhm.
just don't, and I just don't. It doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense to spend that type of money on a running back, and then basically just, yeah. I don't think Kenneth Walker would be too happy about that either.
No.
It's like the Kirk Cousins signing with the Falcons, and then Michael Penix getting drafted. I would
Yeah.
not be happy. All right, so Bengals. Bengals have lost a lot. They added some things, especially on their defense. Trey Hendrickson's gone, but you added Edge, Boy Mafi, D-line Jonathan Allen, and safety Brian Cook. Uh, Pretty much you draft whatever you can at defense, right? Like you need to
Yeah.
continue to just build that defense. Mansour Delaney at LSU would be a solid DB to get, especially with some of the receivers that are in that division. You're going to have to guard. DK, Michael Pittman now.
Hmm.
Zay Flowers. Uh, who am I? Who am I missing? Who's the Browns? Carnell Tate. If they draft Carnell Tate,
Yeah.
so you're going to need somebody to come in that can do that, which Mansour Delaney could 100% do. Uh, Which that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Mansour Delaney. I, I would look at Dylan Thieneman for safety, but I think you have to hold that. Can we get a true DB1 to guard some guys over the safety
Yeah.
position that very big and needed, but yeah. So Dolphins, they come in. They have 2 picks also. Keep in mind. I don't know what the fuck. Oh man.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. So Miami has literally got rid of everyone. Got rid of Tyreek, cut him, got rid of Tua. Tua's a Falcon now. Cut him, trade away Waddle for a first round pick to the Broncos. Um,
I
got
I
rid of Bradley Chubb.
I would not be shocked if they would try to move Achan just because of
No,
his
they
production.
said they won't.
They did say okay.
Yeah, they said they don't want to get rid of Achan.
Okay, I was gonna say because he's been so
I'm not
productive.
gonna lie to you. Achan is a fucking monster. Like Achan's a really good player.
Yeah,
He's someone that I've thought about reaching out to DJ about trading for because I've always liked
yeah,
Achan.
yeah.
Like you can never say I was never not an Achan guy. Um, and I might keep him for my second year, possibly in the dynasty, or not in the dynasty in your league, because why not? Yeah, well,
No,
yeah. I mean,
it's
he's
only
talented.
it's only. I thought we were doing. I
Yeah,
don't remember. Yeah,
2 years.
yeah.
Two
Two
years.
years, one
I
keeper. Yeah,
keep him.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be my second year keeping him, but they have no wide receivers. I mean, no wide receivers whatsoever. And this team needs a stud that can, spark it and build around. You have young Achan, but you got to throw the ball to somebody. Achan can't catch 200, 200 targets a year. He'll never last.
Yep.
Um, I'm thinking this is where you take a Makai Lemon. I know that
Makai Lemon. All right.
he had a terrible, like his pro day, he didn't look bad and all that stuff and everything that he's done. But him answering and him going like this, like I don't know what if he was on drugs or what the fuck was going on. But I've seen him play football and he's a damn good football player, and I think that he would be a good Dolphin. little Amon-Ra St. Brown in him.
Well, yeah, and he's probably going to be able to fill those. That's. I know they got to do, you know, do everything basically going on. So the offense might be ran a little bit different and everything, but they like their quick, speedy, smaller receivers. I would have went Jordan Tyson here. I would have believed in the health, just a little bit bigger of a guy, just for a change up there. But no, I agree. Micaiah Lemon. If it wasn't for some of those things that look, he didn't look great. He didn't look as good as everybody wanted him to or expected him to. If he would have been able to just perform a little bit better, I think he probably goes closer to top 10. But the Dolphins, yeah, I would not be shocked if the Dolphins draft 2 or 3 receivers in this in this draft because they need something.
Yeah.
They got to figure something out. The Cowboys, uh, they they lost. They were able to retain Javonte Williams and George Pickens. They added Rashawn Gary at edge there, and then safety Jalen Thompson. So like linebacker, DB, edge, safety, offensive tackler, kind of the needs that they have. Um, I think you go and get the best. You Trayvon Diggs is gone. Deron Bland has not been what he was a couple years ago in terms of production, and he's been injured. You need a DB2 now. You need somebody or a guy that could be DB1 and Deron Bland be DB2. You just need a second guy that can come and perform for you, and that's going to be Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee. Um, they're playing that division. Eagles, you got AJ Brown for now. We'll see Devontae Smith. You know, we just added Hollywood Brown, who still could put up some numbers. Um, Malik Neighbors, Isaiah Likely at tight end. Scary Terry. Like, you're got good receivers in that division. You're going to need to be able to shut them down. And that was kind of one of their things last year was because they were dealing with those injuries between. I don't think Diggs and Bland were healthy together, like hardly at all, if they were.
Mm-mm.
Um, so just being able to stay healthy, and I know the problem is Jermon McCoy had his own health issues, but I think you have to take the gamble on that, especially if Mansour Delaney is gone, or Delane, however you want to say it, is gone. You got to take the clear best DB at that time.
Yeah.
I think Avion Terrell is just a little bit too much of a reach at pick 12.
The Rams, probably to me, most of the year look like the most complete team in the NFL for a long time. Traded for Trent McDuffie, bolstering that young defense that has been so good. Matthew Stafford ain't getting any younger. Got to protect him. And what's going to be the future? I think that they could potentially draft a quarterback later on in this draft that they would try to develop under Stafford for the next couple of years. But I think they're going to take Loan from Penn State and bolster up that offensive line and get it humming even more than it is and try to protect
the guard.
The guard.
Ola Vega.
Yep. Ola Vega.
I watched. So I've been watching some tape. I've done more than I did last year. I admit, in terms of tape watching and stuff. Dude, he's a fucking animal. I started watching his highlights and I got up in my seat and I'm like, holy fuck! Like whoever drafts this dude is gonna have a fucking stud of a player. Yeah, and what's his nuts? Their offensive tackle just retired too, so I know he's listed at guard, but you need that offensive line help in general to protect Stafford. Yeah. God, who the fuck? What's his name that just retired? Dude, I swear, when we don't do this shit, names go out the door.
Yeah, and
I can picture his face right now. But whatever. Ravens need, for some reason, they need offensive line help. Like I feel like they have very good offensive line players, but I feel like their line is just not played well. And I would say they also need a pass rush. They lost some defensive pass rush. Um, Now the question is, originally they weren't going to have this pick because they traded it away, right? Right? They were going to have their pass rush help, and then that didn't pan through. So for me, I think just like the Rams, you need to. Rams, you have a quarterback that probably is going to play maybe one year. After that, who knows? But you have Lamar Jackson. You need to be able to protect him better. You don't want him, as much as you want him using his legs, you don't want him running all the time, and you don't want him taking a beating. So I think they're going to go and draft Caleb Lomu out of Utah at offensive tackle, and he is going to come in and be told, you need to protect Lamar Jackson, which, as a guy, I'm told to protect a guy like Lamar Jackson. I'm going to work my ass off to make sure that that man does not get hit from the guy that
Yeah.
I need to be putting my body on. So that just makes him probably work even harder. Um, yeah, give me Caleb Lomu. I think he'll be a very solid offensive, like true offensive tackle for him from the start, protecting Lamar.
Now the Bucks. The Bucks lost Mike Evans. Um, who they brought in Kenneth Gainwell, which is interesting. I was actually talking to Austin about that. How I thought that would hurt Bucky Irving fantasy value.
My
But
We had Saquon Barkley when Kenneth Gainwell was there. I know Bucky Irving is no Saquon, but Bucky's a fucking dog and has come off an
he's good.
injury and takes
But here's
over.
the thing: I think Bucky will still get a majority of it, but I think that's going to cut into his receiving value.
Mm.
And I think that they love them. They love them. What's his fucking nuts that they put on a tag on him? They signed him with a tag. What the hell is his name? The running back, the one that's fast as fuck, but they
Oh,
use him in the goal line.
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker, yeah, Sean Tucker. They love Sean
Yeah,
Tucker in Tampa.
yeah. Kenneth Gainwell
Um,
also, I think he's better than Rashad White.
I think so too. That's why I think it does affect it. But offensively, Mbuka had an up and down rookie season. I think that everyone's excited about him. Chris Godwin, still has some juice in the tank. They could go receiver here. I wouldn't fault them for going receiver, but I think that defense needs some work. And I think you need to start up, find someone in the middle that can really be a leader and get CJ Allen out of Georgia. Come in and start bolstering up that defense.
Gonna take a linebacker already. All right. I like C.J. Allen, but that early, man. That'll be interesting.
Gotta fuck
I like C.J. Allen. I think Georgia dog. I wish that we needed a linebacker and he would have fell to the Eagles. He's just add to the Georgia Bulldogs that we draft. No, that's a solid pick. And again, Levante David probably is on his last leg. Like this
Oh, he is.
might be the last season, and you need to replace that. Um, and I mean, C.J. Allen comes in and gets to learn from Levante David. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a leader and role model and guy to learn from. I mean, not just coming in and learning from some random dude either. Jets have pick 16, so went linebacker with Arvell Reese at 2. Um, so again, you already went defense. You could add to the defense. Um, I think you kind of start looking at you kept Brees Hall. You got him for a year. The big thing is where are you at in terms of contract talks? Do you think you can get Brees Hall on a long term deal? If not, I think this is where you might take Jeremiah Love. I fucking hate it for fantasy, but if you know that, all right, franchise tag him 1 year and we're not going to be able to re-sign him, you don't franchise tag him unless you know you're probably going to get him. So I feel like that's not going to happen. It all just depends. So Jeremiah Love could go here if they don't feel like they can get Bryce next year, right? Or get him to a contract before next year, or Brees, not Bryce.
Yeah.
I also think you need defensive tackle, wide receiver, edge, whatever. I think at this point, this is where he's fallen enough. He'd probably be already drafted if he didn't have health issues. This is where Jordan Tyson is finally gonna fucking go. Opposite side of Garrett Wilson. Um, Marcus Marcus is loving how this is planning out right now. I'm looking at it too.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Head coach Marcus Mary. First of all, I'm in my head coach gear. There's no way that happens. I know there's no way that happens.
I know. This mock is
But-
actually kind of.
It's fun to do it though. It's fun to fuck around.
It is because there's so many different ways you can go. Like every team, we don't know. Like we're not in front office, so this is fun. And like doing it with somebody. Okay, I could sit here and I've done my mock, right? I don't have Jeremiah Love on the board anymore. I don't have Monroe Freeling on the board. I don't have Dylan Dean. Like there's guys on the board still because I'm drafting with you because you think differently at some of these spots than I do. So like this is the fun part when you do it with people.
Yeah.
And then once we get like I want before the draft, I really want to at least do a 2-round one at some point. So we'll build into that maybe. But that 2-round one's gonna be fucking wild because it's gonna change a lot. But yeah, Jordan Tyson, Garrett Wilson. You got Geno Smith throwing you the ball. May not be pretty, may be better for him. I don't know. Because I mean, the Raiders didn't have anything outside of Brock Bowers really. I mean, you didn't have these wide receivers like Garrett Wilson or Jordan Tyson, if you draft him, that you could really rely on. Like Geno and DK wasn't a bad quarterback. He put up pretty good numbers. DK did very well. Like he give him some receivers, he can do a little bit of something. And he's not that ass of quarterback. So I think if you give him, you get him Brees out of the backfield. You got Garrett Wilson. You have an actual wide receiver too now. I think they'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be a lot better. I think we'll see a better Geno on the Jets, which is surprising to say, than what we saw with like the Raiders in maybe his last season in Seattle.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, the Lions could go defense, that's for sure. They need an offensive line help. And I think we take the guy out of Georgia, Monroe Freeling.
See, this is the pick that I have going to the Lions. Got some
Yep.
equal things here. He'll be good for him. That offensive line. What, buddy?
Needs help.
Have Papa's under his bed.
Under his bed. We'll tell him to clean him up. Yeah, they need the help at interior line, offensive line, whatever. I think Monroe will probably be more of a tackle, but again, a
Yeah.
lot of these guys need to be willing to. We're solid here for now. Let's get you inside for that experience. I know it's some different techniques, but he's a guy that if you need to move him in, I guarantee he can succeed on that interior line.
And there's been a lot of teams that have moved players around too, from guard or
Yeah.
from tackle to guard and vice versa. I mean, for instance, Mackay, or
Becton.
not Mackay, is
Yeah.
it Mackay?
Yeah, Mekhi
Yeah,
Becton.
he went. Yeah, Becton started out at tackle and they moved him into guard, and he's been a really good fucking guard since they moved him in.
Well, he fell off a little bit last year, but he had injuries. Jets, terrible tackle. Eagles, we put him at guard, and he was probably one of the better guards I've seen us have, and that's saying a lot for what we had. And then the Chargers play him at guard, and he didn't play as well as he did with the Eagles, but he got injured a lot last year. So I'm also like, let's bring him back maybe, and maybe it's just all a other team issue. But yeah, dude, finding those guys that can play, tackle if they need to, but can move in and play
Guard.
are huge, especially with all these guys now.
Yeah.
You're getting offensive tackle size players that can move like centers and guards. That it's like, all right,
Yeah.
if I can have a line like the Eagles when we won the Super Bowl, our average size was like 325 fucking pounds. That's a big offensive fucking line.
It is.
I
Yeah.
think it was more than that, but that's power. You're gonna win, and that's why Saquon Barkley was able to have the rushing title that year. The Vikings, I think they're gonna go safety here. I don't think that Jeremiah Love is gonna. No, if Jeremiah Love is here at 18, which he's not going to be, but if
Yeah.
he is, There's no fucking way the Vikings. The Vikings are gonna sit here and laugh like they did when the Eagles drafted Jalen Rieger over over Justin Jefferson. They're gonna laugh at everybody not drafting Jeremiah Love. So I'll just make it easy. The Vikings are gonna take Jeremiah Love if he's at 18, which he's not gonna be. But for this
Head coach Marcus Mary loves this.
All right, Panthers to you.
Yeah, Panthers. Now, the Panthers are in a interesting spot because they made it into the playoffs. Look decent. You know, they can use O-line help, safety help, wide receiver. They literally could use help all across the board, to be honest. They have
Yeah.
a lot of holes. I think they overproduced. Um, I think it's time. I think you got to take the safety out of Oregon, Dylan Theismann. I think that he is, to me, he's like Harrison Smith reincarnated, and I think he's just going to be a ball hawk and a fucking let's stop the run type of guy.
Yeah. No, I have the Viking. Realistically, I think the Vikings take him if he's available. Um, but yeah, I definitely. I mean, if he's gonna fall there, I don't see why you wouldn't, right? Um, mind you, Harrison Smith. I think the Panthers. Yeah, like you said, they overplayed, and I think it's gonna be a season where they're probably gonna be sad for what's gonna come. It's kind of like the Commanders the year before, made the NFC Championship game, and then last year. Maybe they don't fall off as hard as the Commanders do, but I think they're going to come back down to reality a little bit. Um, and they're having some line issues with injuries, contract, all that shit. Bringing back, signing, and then yeah, that defense just needs help, and yeah, Dylan's gonna do that for them. Cowboys, we took a DB in Jermod McCoy at pick 12. So the Cowboys come back up again in the first round. I had them taking CJ Allen here because that would have been perfect for him. But they also need edge. I would. I mean, they got Rashawn Gary, but I still think you need a younger guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been sitting there. We're gonna go in and take Keldrick Falk out of Auburn.
Oh,
I watched this tape. I think he's gonna be because Auburn hasn't been as good as they have been. So people like kind of discredit what some of these guys do on those teams that don't play as well. I think
yeah.
he's kind of getting overlooked in terms of what he could do on the edge. Watching his film, I mean, he was blowing up these guys and getting to the quarterback with ease, and I'm just like, people are talking like he's not gonna be, uh, like he might fall in the draft in terms of some other guys getting drafted over at him at edge, but I'm not I don't get paid the big bucks to be a recruiter and all this stuff yet. Maybe someday, I don't know. Maybe I don't see talent well, I don't know, but I think Keldrick Falk on that edge, and again, in an NFC East, your defensive line makes a huge difference when most of those teams' offensive lines are good, some of them great. Um, you got to have a good defensive line to match that.
Yeah. Well. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers to me are in a decent spot. They need a quarterback. Will it be Rodgers? Will it be Kirk Cousins? Who will it be? I think that will be fixed with free agency. I think that's where that team will go. Wide receivers, I don't really think they need another wide receiver. I think with Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf, they're doing all right. They got big Pat Freiermuth. Offensive line has gotten better. It says guard on there, but I almost feel like they could take a tackle and it'd be fine. That defense got a little bit better. They did get a safety, but they did get didn't they get a cornerback? I want to say
no, dude, they got Rico Dowdle, Michael Pittman. They re-signed Cameron Hayward.
Yep.
Cornerback, Jamel Dean. Cornerback, Asante Samuel
That's what it
Jr.
was, Jamel.
Safety,
Yep.
Jaquan Brisker. Safety, Darnell Savage. I mean, they have
Yeah, they really,
talent.
really, really killed it. I feel like it's hard 'cause I feel like it could be AJ Terrell's brother really is speaking to me right now. I think adding another talented DB on this team that's young would be nice, but I'm also looking at it and like I could see them because they run a 3-4. I could see them taking a big old stud in the middle, like a Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. And I feel like they're gonna, but then you got, oh God, you got Peter Woods from
I
Clemson.
think I think this pick replaces Cam Hayward. I think they signed
Yeah,
him. So whatever D
whatever they
tackle,
do.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think they replace him here.
let's do Peter Wood out of Clemson.
Peter Woods out of Clemson. Yeah, I have Caden McDonald and him neck and neck. Like really take
Yeah,
what who can go. The Chargers. This is I had the Chargers taking Peter Woods. That's funny. Um, Interior line help. They really need that. That was not good at all for them. Mekhi Becton was injured a lot. Justin Herbert somehow again survived and didn't die. Another year. I think if he was the size of Tua, he'd probably be dead. But because he's 6'6", it definitely helps him. Um, you, you got in Khalil Mack. I know you did sign Trevor Penning, and then you got Tyler Biadasz for center. So you could look at like a guard, safety, DB help, and then like again, Khalil Mack isn't getting any older or any younger. He's gonna
no.
need to be replaced at some point. So you could go edge here. I think Akeem Mesidor is probably your best option if you're going to go edge. To me, I think you draft again. It's one of those situations. They're listed as offensive tackle, but they're going to come in and play guard for you. Um, with the Chargers, I think Caden Proctor could come in and play guard for them. Um,
Southeast Polk boy.
uh, after, I mean, Bama last year was moving him around a little bit, having him played running back, having him play wide receiver. You know, the Chargers get creative and can do some of that stuff now. So,
Especially with the coke sniffing offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. So
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, he could have a fun heyday with that. I also think, if I know they dealt with some offensive tackle injuries too. If they really absolutely need to, they can move him outside and play. But Caden Proctor in offensive guard, I think, is going to be one of the nastiest works to see in offensive
oh
guard.
yeah,
If
oh
if
yeah,
he
that's gonna be a nasty
if
offensive
they
line.
yeah,
Yeah, that'll be a nasty offensive line.
I wanted him to fall to the
Eagles.
Eagles. I wanted to not pick him and then hope you did it, but yeah,
Here's the thing: there's a lot of offensive line talent in this draft,
there is.
and honestly, looking at the Eagles, I don't think AJ Brown will be an Eagle at the end of the season. Do you?
It's tough
I don't think he
because
will.
the last 3 years we've heard AJ Brown wants out. AJ Brown's not there. We won a Super Bowl. He's been an All Pro three
Skinny.
times. Like
Where there's smoke, there's fire, though.
the only reason why I still see him on the roster solely because avoiding the dead money that we would owe him. And like if we could trade him now and get a pretty decent first round, get a this year's pick, but we'd eat $40 million. Now if we wait till June 1st, well, the draft's over. Why would we trade him now and then not reap any benefits from it, during the season? So that's the only thing that I don't know. I think there's a chance maybe by the trade deadline, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. But I'm probably wrong on that. It doesn't make sense to trade him like right after June 1st, and then we don't have a pick until 2027, right? We have no benefits of it. for the whole entire season. I just don't think that's how Howie's gonna work um, for it, type thing. So I could see him being on the roster just solely because we reap no benefits in terms of pick compensation until a whole year later, right? Like it just there's nothing that we gain from it. Um, I don't think the Hollywood Brown signing really sparks anything because Hollywood Brown hasn't been a top receiver. But no, I get what people are saying and I get it, but I don't think that I'm not fully confident that all the talk of him leaving is true after 3 years of it, where it's always going to get traded. He's going to get traded. He's going to get traded, but he's won Super Bowls. He's been happy. Like, I don't know.
See, I think that there's a really, really good chance of that happening. To be honest, like I said, once there's smoke, there's fire. He's wanted to get out for a long time. They are gonna most definitely do that. And I think you got to replace him with somebody. I really think that that's going to be something that's going to be a really big, team focus on there because outside of it, no, and I'm
Yeah, but in
serious.
round one, I don't think so. When have we ever hit on a round one wide receiver? We haven't. So I think Howie is gonna not do that again.
You guys haven't, but that doesn't mean you guys couldn't. Now there are some players, and this, you guys do need offensive line help. You guys need some things. God, it's just hard because you guys are another team that's really good that could go where you want to go. If you want to take an offensive lineman, you can take an offensive lineman. If you want to take another receiver, you can take another receiver.
My biggest thing that we for sure need is safety and edge. Outside of that, I think I'm comfortable. Like as a fan, I think I'm comfortable in terms of everything else. But edge would probably be our biggest thing. Our pass rush was terrible last year. It was not
Don't,
good.
don't
But
understand it. Don't understand it either, but we'll go out there and we'll do what Skinny wants because Skinny's team.
no, you do whatever you want. You're picking for this team.
We'll go out there.
And take Ty Simpson because Jalen Hurts is trash.
Yeah, take Ty Simpson because Jalen Hurts is trash, and you might as well get the good Alabama quarterback, blitz, Byron Blitz. I would say it's just tough because I feel like they can do whatever. I feel like AJ Brown's gonna be gone. And I feel like you got to replace him. And there's not really. I mean, you could get a Stephon Diggs for a year. You could do that. You could still fix that in free agency. So I think that that's something that you could do that. I would say scroll up to the top, Skinny. What's available?
I am.
I would say Spencer Fano. Get you a stud fucking tackle. And here's the thing, most drafts, he'd probably be a top 15 pick, if not earlier, for that. But since there's so much offensive line talent in here, like this draft is gonna make solid offensive lines.
Oh yeah. Well, the other one too is Lane Johnson's probably on his last year. He's been injured a lot.
Yeah.
Fred Johnson, we've had come back and play, and he played well for us. But you can't keep relying on a guy. Get the youth. Get a guy that's going to be on your team for the next 4 to 5 years, and if you can extend him, extend him. I was really waiting for you to say wide receiver with all that fucking. You got to replace AJ Brown. You got to do this. Let's draft a receiver. No, I think the Eagles' identity is their lines, right? Defensive line, offensive line.
Yeah.
I just think Howie has missed so badly on wide receivers.
Skinny.
We're gonna.
It doesn't matter because Jalen Hurts is such a bad quarterback.
We draft like Casey Concepcion, but then the next wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. or Chris Bell or whoever the fuck is literally drafted right after is gonna be like way better, and whatever. Browns picking at 24. Browns, we took wide receiver Carnell Tate. So quarterback, offensive tackle, interior line, wide receiver. They added a lot of line. Offensive tackle Travis Howard, offensive guard Zion Johnson, offensive line Elgton Jenkins. So like really, I don't even think that's a big as need as it needs to be.
Well, I'm just gonna say it. Why do I feel like Ty Simpson might be might be a first round quarterback.
You really, they have people. They say that he's gonna go. Like I've seen mock drafts and shit where like he's going to the Steelers, but I just don't think the Steelers do that if
I
they
don't
could get.
I don't think that early, but I could see him going after pick 20, especially to like a Browns who has 2 picks. I'm not saying that that will happen,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. Tyson. I mean, to be honest, we didn't think Jackson Dart was going to be a first round pick last year. We thought Jackson Dart was ass. We thought it was going to be
Yeah, that's true.
Junior Sanders. So like
Do
you
you?
don't know.
My only question is, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, at this point you don't have like the biggest thing is if you're gonna draft him in the top probably 10, 5 for sure, 10. That's the guy that you're like, all right, we're going to start right away. I don't agree with it. I always think a quarterback needs
Mhm.
at least a year or so to develop behind somebody. Um, but once you get here, you're like, all right, we could stash him. Like this isn't that big of a
Oh
deal. We
yeah,
can
oh yeah.
stash. Like it's fine. This is where teams that, uh, like I mean, the Dolphins are sitting
Well,
right there at 30.
yeah,
If Ty Simpson could
if the
fall,
Browns don't do it, the Dolphins could
yeah,
most definitely do it.
or I mean, yeah, outside of that, everybody other quarterbacks pretty much I
Yeah.
would say good. I wouldn't think you'd value a backup quarterback for anybody, but like the Dolphins are probably sitting there like this also could be a point where the Dolphins are like we're gonna get Ty Simpson because no other team here is probably gonna draft him unless
Yeah.
they felt like maybe the Browns were given that vibe they were gonna do it. The Dolphins might try to trade that 30 pick up to like maybe the Eagles or Chargers, which the Eagles are in a point where Howie loves to trade back. Howie doesn't always, he's a guy that trades
Mhm.
back a lot, and he's hit on those picks, those later picks. So, and again, the Eagles are in a spot where they don't necessarily need to take a pick there. So, like, that could be an option where the Dolphins trade up to get Ty Simpson. But the Browns, I don't think they draft Ty Simpson here. I think you still have more than just a quarterback to fix and change things, and I, I think the other one too is somebody believes in Sanders because they drafted him, and you got rid of the head coach that didn't believe in him and want him. So I think you kind of made a decision there to show that we're gonna ride with Sanders and try it out. Um,
Mhm.
so taking Carnell Tate, you got him that. You signed a lot of line, so I think you can kind of wait on that. Um, so at this point, in terms of needs, you could do anything you wanted. Um, I think one thing that doesn't hurt the Browns is they've always had a solid defense. They've had a solid pass rush. I think what you do to make Myles Garrett even scarier is you go and get him a guy that can rush the passer opposite of him, which results in Myles Garrett getting double teamed all the time, and either getting Hakeem Messidor or you get a very, very good defensive tackle who's going to draw more double teams, so then other people are getting open, and you're
Yeah.
going to take Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. You're going to make that defensive line. Myles Garrett's already going to take 2 people. Now you're
Yeah.
opening up these options. You draft an edge where a guy can win on. I think Hakeem Messidor can win one-on-one a lot. But are you taking a Caden McDonald where
Yeah.
he's going to draw 2 bodies a lot too? So you're
And to
making those
add
options.
right next to Mason Graham.
Yeah, who just he had a very decent rookie season also.
Yeah.
So that defensive line is going to be very hard to block. Like it's going to be you
Yeah.
have to pick and choose. If we're going to take 2 on Myles Garrett, these other 3 are going to have a heyday on their one-on-ones. Or if you're willing to just one-on-one Myles Garrett, not very smart, but I think you double team him and let everybody else go one-on-one, and they're going to win those matchups a lot.
Scroll up on your screen so I can see it.
Oh, sorry. The Bears.
The Bears. Let's see. It's taking a second for me to get up to you going up.
I'm as
There
far
we
as I
go.
can go. Oh, sorry.
That's as far.
Oh
That's
yeah,
as
you're
far as you.
delayed. You're delayed because you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
My bad.
So the Bears had a pretty decent season last year. Defense played better. Offense, I feel like they have a pretty solid stack of guys there. Swift panned out pretty well. Colson Loveland, was a better pick than I thought he'd be, and might be their number one target. have a good set of young receivers. I think it's got to be defense or offensive line. I think they spent a lot of money last year on their offensive line that played pretty decent.
Well,
So,
they brought in Garrett Bradbury and
yep,
Braxton Jones, so offensive line did get some help.
yeah.
They
I
got
would say
Devin
it's got to
Bush.
be yeah, Devin Bush, who I remember when Devin Bush was drafted. That's how old I feel right
Well,
now. And Devin
and
Bush is like,
you just signed safety Kobe Bryant, so like your safety position
no,
is covered at least.
decent.
Like
Yeah. No, and they're looking good. And I think they could go a lot of ways. I just feel like Avion Terrell is just sitting there, and he's gonna be a fucking stud. His brother's a stud. He was really good at Clemson. Like I just feel like adding another fucking stud corner right next to Jalen Johnson, once you have to play, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have to play, you know, Jamison Williams and Jordan Addison's and Justin Jefferson's in the league. I think these are a lot of premier wide receivers. I mean, you could say some of the Packers guys, but they're not that good usually. But I
Romeo
don't know. Like
Dobbs. Well, I
Romeo,
guess
oh no, not
yeah,
Dobbs.
yeah, not anymore.
Uh,
But
Christian Watson.
Matthew Golden, if they'd use him.
Yeah, if they love Matthew Golden, but they hate him. So I think Avion Terrell would be my pick for that.
Solid, solid. All right, Bills. They did a lot. You got Dawson Knox back. You got DJ Moore at wide receiver. The wide receiver help they truly needed. Um, they got Edge Bradley Chubb, D4 to DB. I think the one thing that they've needed the last couple of years that has been they used to have two all, I don't know if they both were all pros, but all pro level safeties. You haven't had that in a
Yeah,
couple of years. You're gonna go and get Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil Warren at safety. I think he I think he could go a lot earlier. I mean, I could see teams taking him a lot earlier um, than 26. But oops, I think the Bills go and get a guy that can go back to that pro Pro Bowl, All Pro level that they've missed out of not having like Jordan Poyer and uh, who's the other one? Micah Hyde.
yep,
They
like
just haven't
I
had that. So Bills go safety here.
scroll up on your list again for my San Francisco 49ers, getting Mike Evans, you know, did not resign Juwan Johnson, resigned Jake Tunges. It's pretty crazy. And they also got Dre Greenlaw back too.
Yeah,
So this team, a lot of holes. Decent though. Brock Purdy, healthy Brock Purdy. They're keeping Mac Jones apparently, so good for Mackie Jones, I guess. You know, they really don't trust Brock Purdy staying healthy if they keep Mac Jones. That's what it comes down to.
yeah.
They said that, or they want a first round pick for Mac Jones. I said, "Are you high?
I uh,
No one's gonna pay that."
I joked when they signed Mike Evans. I was like, "Damn, this is like their IR. It's like IR is gonna be fucking full of players at some
Oh,
point this
100%. It
season."
always is.
Like,
It's the 5G tower, dude. It's something. But um, I don't know. I mean, the Niners, you know, have some pieces. I think teams like this, I always, you know, de facto towards defense because defense is always going to win you games and championships. And they're not going to stay healthy. They're going to need help on that defense. So I think throw them an edge like Akeem Mesidor from Miami. Get someone to pass rush. It's a hard division. You have good quarterbacks in that division and kind of start building towards the defenses that we've known for a lot of years and loved from the Niners. So
Akeem Mesidor. Akeem. The Texans are up. Uh, I don't know what this team keeps doing. They got David Montgomery at running back. I really enjoy that. David Montgomery wanted to be a true running RB1 for a team. He has
and
that
he's gonna
chance
be.
to do that. I do think Damian Pierce is now an Eagle, so he's gone. You don't even got to worry about him anymore. Um,
Oh,
who's that younger guy that just played both?
oh, Woody Marks,
Yeah, Woody Marks looked good. That'll
good
be a
receiving
solid.
back.
Yeah, that'll be a good. That it's gonna. Woody Marks is no Jahmyr Gibbs, but it's gonna be David Montgomery does all the power rushing, short yardage, first couple downs. Woody Marks can come in and be a better, he's a better receiving back than David Montgomery is. But I think David Montgomery can do both. I'm not knocking that David Montgomery is a bad receiver at all means, but Woody Marks, that'll be a good 1-2 punch for them. In order to be able to do that, you need to have an offensive line. Um, I think that despite adding Trent Brown and Ed Ingram, they're still going to draft offensive line. There's just no way that they don't. You This one's tough because I really like Max Einacker out of Arizona State, but Blake Miller is like the most like veteran guards, with 54 starts, 4-year
Hmm.
starter, like, and I think that's kind of what you want to lean towards. A guy that has a lot of downs played, has a lot of knowledge, has a lot of knowledge for. I think they go offensive tackle. I'm gonna go Blake Miller in this situation, but I really think that Max Hyatt-Ocker could really go there for him too.
Yeah. Will you scroll back to who I took for the
Uh,
Chiefs the first time?
Kenyon Sadiq at tight end, dude.
I really was playing games, man. God damn. Um, wow, Sadiq at 9, dude. Sadiq would be a wonderful addition to that team. Um, you know, oof, oof. I think they got to replace Trent McDuffie. And I think you go Colton Hood from Tennessee. Help bolster up that defensive back. Yeah,
You like
Roman.
you like Colton Hood over Brandon Sissy?
Yeah, fuck Brandon Sissy,
Oh,
dude.
wow, just terrible. All right, yeah, no Colton Hood. Um, yeah, you lost all these DBs. You need it. you
There
need
they do.
help. Um, no, I think that's a solid pick. I have taken a DB at this spot too. Um, I think on see in my mock, in my 2 round mock, I had them taking hold on, where the fuck is it? So in this pick, and then there was some mock I did where I had them take. I was doing a mock. I had them take 2 DBs because I'm like, they're gonna pull at Eagles. They saw the Eagles do it, so they're gonna do it. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe they go and look at doing that, depending on what's available. Come to them at their next pick. But all right, Dolphins. I think at this point, if Ty Simpson's what he's talked about, I don't think you should wait to draft like a Nussmeier or Carson Beck or. I mean, you could wait for Beck if you really wanted to. Being in Miami already, he's already accustomed to the life a little bit. But I think the talent difference between Ty Simpson and Carson Beck. Carson Beck will win you games, but I don't in college. Very good college quarterback, but I don't think it's gonna turn into
Translate.
anything crazy for the NFL. Where Ty Simpson, I think, can give that to you. He's
Yeah.
a little bit bigger than Tua was in
Hell
terms
of
of
an
height.
athlete too.
Yeah, and he's an athlete. A little bit more mobile. So I could definitely see them doing there. I really don't want them to take. I don't think Ty Simpson's a first round pick quarterback, especially if like this is a guy that you want to start week one. They do
Why is he?
have
He's not that much different than Jackson Dart, though.
Yeah, they still have Quinn Ewers, which Quinn Ewers was a
Yeah.
good call, probably a very good college quarterback um, to compete with. So we'll have them take Ty Simpson in this mock. Maybe down the road, maybe not. But I mean, there's still quarterbacks, free agent quarterbacks out there that you could still go and get, like that you might start first. Let him learn. Like Joe Flacco, I feel like has been a very good leadership guy coming in. You know, like come in, play, ball out a little bit, but he can mentor very well for some of these guys.
Mhm.
Um, and I would
Yeah,
say
I
Andy
agree.
Dalton, but for some reason we traded for Andy Dalton. I don't know what that's about, but
Yeah,
like Andy Dalton would
he's
be a good one.
replacing them, dude.
There's no
He's
fucking way.
replacing.
Imagine Andy Dalton running the fucking tush push, man. Be
Dude,
hilarious.
it'd be awesome.
I
The Red
really,
Rifle,
I
baby.
really wanted the fucking Eagles to draft.
You know,
Uh,
he's the only one out of that draft class to still be there.
would doubt it. People get old, man.
Quarterback wise. Like, think about it right now. Like, do you remember that draft class? I'll be impressed if you can tell me the top
Dude,
quarterbacks drafted in that draft class.
dude, I
I'll
don't.
give you a hint. Wait. Listen. I'll give you a hint. Carolina, Minnesota, Tennessee.
Christian Ponder.
There's one of them. Tennessee, Jacksonville. Those were drafted in front of him. So it went.
Blake Bortles? Nah, that was
No.
way too late.
Wait.
Jacksonville.
Yes. No. It wasn't.
No,
It wasn't.
2011.
It wasn't. It was 2011. I'll tell you right now.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton,
Yeah.
Jake Locker, um, Christian Ponder, and then it was the dude that looks like Trevor Lawrence at Jacksonville, but it's not Trevor Lawrence. He was a San Francisco 49er. Um, he was so fucking ass. He what the fuck was his name, dude?
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert, yeah. And
Yeah.
then second round to Cincinnati. Yeah, that was the year of the lockout, I'm pretty sure, too, because that's when Vikings had Donovan McNabb as their starting quarterback.
Ryan Mallett.
Ryan Mallett was a Patriot.
Just looking.
And he got drafted. I don't know what round
Hey,
he
that
got
was
drafted.
Ricky Stanzi, man, out of Iowa.
Yep, Ricky Stanzi. Ricky Stanzi went to Jacksonville, too, didn't he?
TJ Yates.
Yep, TJ Yates for the Texans.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Isn't Tyrod still in the
Tyrod
league?
Taylor's,
Or
yeah,
am
he's
I
still in the league.
so
Nope, you're right. I think you.
So you're
I
wrong.
was wrong. Wrong.
Greg McElroy.
Greg McElroy. Nice, dude.
Out of Bama.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Yeah, that was it. Okay.
Hey, were you impressed with that first round, dude, calling that shit?
Yeah. Besides that, Tyrod Taylor was a part of that draft class, and he's still around. No, I'm joking. It's
Damn.
I don't know what like. Literally anything after like a certain time period, I just don't fucking remember shit for shit half the time. Like, it was also 2011. I was starting to like party a lot, so Marcus was worried about football. I was worried about getting drunk. All right, so
That's true. That's true. Patriots didn't do anything for the receiver room, did they?
Pats, Romeo Dobbs. That's about it.
So I think that they're in the running to get the good old Eagles sweepstake of AJ Brown. But if that wouldn't happen, they do need a receiver. It's kind of gross right now with what's left at receiver. Like, it's kind of like I could see these guys being second round picks. But the Patriots are really really bad at drafting wide receivers, and I think they'll probably end up doing it, and it'll probably just be like another what's his face scenario. The guy that Bill Belichick drafted and didn't do shit. But give me Casey Constant, whatever, however you say his last name. Concepcion.
Solid. Seahawks coming off the Super Bowl win. You retained Rashid Shaheed. You got Joshua Jobe back. Safety Rodney Harris. I think could go edge here. That pass rush was fucking insane in the Super Bowl. I think that was a huge thing that won them that Super Bowl. I think pass rush is pretty good too. Like like overall, the second round, there's going to be some pass rushes there too. You kind of look at what you're going to need. Like I think this one's hard because I love Brandon Sissy here. Sissy. Um, because he's that type of DB that they want. Lengthy, quick, explosive, gets to the ball, and that's exactly what literally every single one of their DBs is.
Yeah, they do like them.
But at the same time, that pass rush is what helped you defensively allowed those DBs to do what they did. Got to the pass rush, got to the quarterback. So this one's hard for me because I really think like TJ Parker coming off the edge. Because after that, I mean, you start kind of falling off with edge players in terms of you're not going to get one for a while, and then edge is gone, and by the time you come back around, there's some edge players, but I think you're probably looking at going other routes with what you truly need.
They're going to go in and take Anthony Harris Jr., the best linebacker in the whole draft.
No, I think you're gonna. I think it's gonna be too hard to pass up.
TJ.
Brandon. No, I think it's gonna be too hard to pass up Brandon. I think Brandon's just a very good elite um, DB for him. He literally is what they want in DB, and he fits it perfectly. So full mock draft results: Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders, Jets Arvell Reese, Cards Ruben Bain, Titans Sonny Styles, New York David Bailey, wide receiver Carnell Tate, wide receiver or not wide receiver, I saw the W. Commanders, Caleb Downs, Saints Francis Moagoa, Chiefs Kenyon Sadiq, which that one I never really thought about. Like in my mind, I didn't really think about that, but I actually really like that. Bengals Mansour Delaney, Dolphins Makai Lemon, Cowboys Jermod McCoy, Rams Vega Ione, Ravens Caleb Lomu, Bucks CJ Allen, Jets Jordan Tyson, Lions Monroe Freeling, Vikings Jeremiah Love. Marcus would probably jizz in his pants if that actually came
Oh my god.
Panthers Dylan Thieneman, Cowboys Keldrick Falk, Steelers Peter Woods, Chargers Caden Proctor, Eagles Spencer Fennell, Browns Caden McDonald, Bears Avian Terrell, Bills Emmanuel McNeil Warren, San Fran Akeem Mesidor, Texans Blake Miller, Chiefs Colton Hood, Dolphins Ty Simpson, Pats Casey Concepcion, and Seahawks Brandon Sissy. Again, we just do this for the fun of it. If you stayed and watched, congratulations, you made it. We'll probably do another mock maybe in like 2 weeks or so. If by that point maybe some more free agency signings have been done, and then I'd like to probably like the week before the draft we do like we'll do like a one that we both agree on type thing. Like one instead of just picking each pick or every other pick, we'll pick the picks together. Type thing, and maybe we'll do like a full 2-round, just because I think that second round is going to be fun too. Like I think that second round is going to be very fun, especially with what people do in the first round. But thanks for joining, Marcus. Have a good night. Enjoy your Friday. Go play games. I might hop in later. For all that are watching or stayed, go ahead, hit us up, rank our thing if you like it. Let us know. Peace out, homies.